The strongest argument for globalization is that it enables you to profit from specialization. Now, by that I don't mean that there's a static specialization, like I'm going to be the drawer of water or the hewer of wood, because endowments, technology, everything is changing all the time. What I mean is that at any one point of time, you have a certain set of endowments which you have accumulated, you have shaped and so on, which then define what you're good at, all right? Once you do that, then we economists say, and this goes back to Adam Smith in its very essence, over 200 years ago, that if maybe I can do everything better than you can, I can maybe interview better than you do, I can teach better than you do, but clearly my greatest advantage over you is in teaching. Certainly not in, I might be a little bit better than you at interviewing. There's this joke about, a Jewish joke about someone asks somebody, can you play the violin? And the answer by this Jewish wit is that maybe I can, but I've never tried. So maybe I'm a better interviewer, but I've never tried it. So, but let's grant it for argument's sake. What economics teaches you, international economics, is that, and what Adam Smith pointed out was, that if I specialize in where my advantage over you is greater, and therefore teach and leave you to do the interviewing, we'll both be better off, because we'll have more of each of these two activities. And if each activity or each good is actually a good, not a bad like heroin, then you are going to be better off. So that's the fundamental case. Today, people are worried about this case, and we can come back to that later in the discussion, and try and see how the modern world looks. But the greatest argument against it today is that there are two sets of arguments, and let me just say, one is the social criticisms. The many young people are altruistic, empathetic, and they worry about the effects of globalization on women's rights, on democracy, on poverty in the poor countries, on indigenous culture, like Evo Morales, that globalization is going to wipe it out. Then Monsieur Beauvais in France worries about mainstream culture, that the French culture will be wiped out, and also French agriculture for that matter. So there's a double jeopardy for the French. And so there are a variety of such things. And those I would say are mainly the concerns of the young and idealistic people. And they really form the most important part of the world in my view. Then there are the fears and self-interest driven critics of globalization. Those are the AFL-CIO, or the presidential candidates today in the United States, who of course reflect the AFL-CIO fears and so on. They're worried about how trading with the outside world, having multinational corporations, investing abroad and so on, how all of that is going to really undermine our wages of our unskilled workers, maybe even of the middle class in some cases. There are some people who worry about that. But I would say that ties up with my original worry of what's going to happen to the bottom 30%. I'm a Democrat in the US political configuration. I have always worried about the bottom 30%. If this is true, it's a serious downside. But I don't believe it is true. But this is something which a lot of people fear, and that's the biggest challenge to globalization today in the rich countries.